What if I told you that this entire animation was made without using any 3D software, and it only took me a couple of hours and a tiny budget that costs less than my lunch? Hey, my name is Mira, and I make animations for a living using only AI. In this video, I will break down exactly how I made this AI animation, so you will be able to generate the best animations all using AI.
It was the holidays, so my parents brought me camping. Dad was setting up the camp while my mom, she was making sandwiches for us. While I wandered around, that's when I saw it. An egg! I knew they wouldn't let me keep it, so I hid it in the back of our car. After we got home from camping, I sneakily carried the egg to the shed. I thought about it all night. Maybe it was just a bird, or something else? The next morning, I couldn't wait. The first thing I did was check on it. Oh no!
I'll leave all the tools I used in the description below, including all my prompts and everything you need. The platform we will be using is called OpenArt. So head over to OpenArt's homepage and click on Image. I'll select Nanobanana as the model. That is because Nanobanana is excellent at character and environment consistency. What I have in mind is a Pixar girl with a brown ponytail, wearing casual clothes. So this is my prompt. If you want the full prompt, it's all in the description. But basically, it is just an in-depth description on how I would like the girl to look like. After a few generations, I'm happy with this one. Now, here's a little trick I always do to make sure the character stays perfectly consistent throughout the whole animation. AI tends to perform best when there is as little visual disturbance as possible. If you take a closer look at this current image, the girl is standing in a forest with trees and mountains in the background, and it looks really blurry. AI will actually register all that lighting, colors, and even the sharpness of the objects. So the best thing to do is to clear out the distraction and have a clean, sharp image of the character we want. So I'll generate a new version of our character with a plain white background. Bring the character back into Nanobanana and place her in the Omni reference section. For the prompt, I'll write something like, keep the girl exactly the same. Pose her standing with a neutral posture. Change the background to a plain white studio. Make sure you are satisfied with the generation, because this new image will become our core image to ensure consistency across all future generations. So do your due diligence. Now that we have our character confirmed, it's time to plan out a story for her. You can use ChatGPT to brainstorm different story ideas, but for this one, I'm gonna do a simple story about the girl going camping with her family. Take a look at this first scene. This was made with the combination of Nanobanana being the image model and Veo 3.1 as the video model. So let's get started with generating the image for the first scene. A good animation needs a good starting image to work with. For example, I generated multiple images that I could choose from. I ended up choosing this image because it looks the best to me. How I generated the image is by prompting a Pixar-style cinematic aerial view of a family SUV driving along a curved forest road. In the settings, make sure you change the output size to 16:9. Now that we have an image, let's start animating it by heading over to OpenArt's Video tab and select Veo. Drag in our image and this will be our motion prompt. It is basically telling the AI how the camera should move, what the lighting feels like, and the overall cinematic style. Here's a big tip. Make sure you mention the expected sound in the result and no background music. I learned this the hard way because the generations came out with unwanted sounds when I didn't specify. Before generating, make sure you change a few settings. Change the resolutions to 1080p and select normal for the video mode to get the highest possible quality for your generations. Check it out. Now let's move on to the second scene. In this next scene, I want the girl sitting in the back seat of the SUV. To do that, this is where our core image of the girl just now comes into play. Head back to Nanobanana and drag in our core image along with the family SUV into the Omni reference. This will ensure character and environment consistency. Here's the prompt we will be using. It is basically describing the girl sitting inside the family SUV. In the settings, make sure the output size is still at 16:9. The image came out great. Now, there is a problem with Veo, as it doesn't allow any generations with any character that looks too young. So to overcome that, we will be using WAN 2.5 for all the video generations that involve the girl. So in the video section, switch the model to WAN 2.5 and drag in the image. Here's our video prompt. It basically describes a cinematic animation of the girl sitting in the backseat during a morning drive, with the camera motion smoothly drift toward her profile, keeping that Pixar-style lighting and natural, realistic look. The result came out incredible. Let me show you another scene. The most important step on getting a consistent animation is pretty simple. All you have to know is what image is crucial to be added in the Omni reference. As an example, this image was generated with these two reference images along with this prompt. A Pixar-style cinematic close-up of a father at a forest campsite unpacking his camping gear beside a tent. The reason we are using these two references is because the SUV image helps show the forest environment and lighting, while the image of the girl helps the AI understand the animation style, so the father's design matches that same Pixar-inspired look. With this image, head back to Veo 3.1 and give it a motion prompt. Here's the prompt we will be using: a cinematic forest scene of the father's unpacking camping gear beside a tent, and the camera gently pans around. Just make sure to include the natural forest sounds with no background music, so there won't be unwanted sounds. Here are the results. By now, you probably already know the full process of AI animation. Using Nanobanana with the right reference image, Veo 3.1 for shots without the kid, and Juan 2.5 for shots that include her. Next, I'll show you a few more examples that use some extra techniques I haven't covered yet. Check this out. This animation was created using two images. One is the starting frame, another is the end frame. The steps to generate these images are simple, as it is the same as before. Head to Nanobanana and put in our first SUV image into the Omni reference. And for the prompt, I just mentioned a Pixar-style medium-wide shot of the blue SUV driving on a suburban street. And this is the result. For the end frame, just change the prompt to a medium-wide shot of the blue SUV turning into a suburban driveway. This is what you should get. Now bring both of these images into Veo 3.1, dragging the first image into the start frame. After that, click on the end frame and drag in our second image. Here's the video prompt I used to blend them together: a cinematic shot of the blue SUV driving down a quiet suburban street and turning into a driveway with the camera follows smoothly. The results are impressive. The last animation I want to showcase is this. The image was generated using the same techniques I showed you, so I will just showcase how the video generation was made. Head over to Veo 3.1 and drag in the image. The motion prompt is basically a cinematic shot of the backyard transitioning smoothly from evening to night, with star fading effects, then turning to morning sunlight. Moving on, we will be adding voiceover to the animations. To do that, we will be using 11 Labs, as it is the best platform to generate audio. So head over to 11 Labs and click on Voices. There are thousands of voices you can choose from. To use the voice, click on Text to Speech and select 11v3 as the model. You can write anything you have in mind that matches your animation. For me, I've already prepared these lines to be included in the animations. Here's a pro tip: make sure you include expressions like excited, curious, and playful to get the most emotion out of the voice narration for your story. Once you have your full narration down, it's time to put everything together. I use Premiere Pro for all my editing, but you can use any editing software you like. Putting in sound effects and making all the animations flow together might take some practice, but I assure you it's not as hard as it seems. And I promise, you can only get better. And after spending 30 minutes of the sound design, here is the final result of our hard work.
It was the holidays, so my parents brought me camping. Dad was setting up the camp while my mom, she was making sandwiches for us. While I wandered around, that's when I saw it. An egg! I knew they wouldn't let me keep it, so I hid it in the back of our car. After we got home from camping, I sneakily carried the egg to the shed. I thought about it all night. Maybe it was just a bird, or something else? The next morning, I couldn't wait. The first thing I did was check on it. Oh no!
So this is how I create the entire AI animation, only using OpenArt and 11 Labs. I highly recommend OpenArt as it has all the image and video models available all in one place, which is important because you can use multiple AI models without needing to pay multiple subscriptions on different platforms. The link for OpenArt will be down in the description. Now, if you want to learn how to prank your parents with the new AI homeless trend, click the video on screen right now.